Hello, hello, and welcome everybody. I am here with Emily Phillips, who has the most beautiful introduction sentence that you just got. That one of her core beliefs is that you are whole and loved exactly as you are. So Emily, thank you so much for being here and to be willing to jump straight into the deep end.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. And I can't think of a better place to start than in the deep end.
That's something that I think most of us sensitives share, that all the chit chat and small talk, that's actually what makes us feel awkward. But when we get to the nitty gritty and the good stuff, then we actually feel that we are on our home court, if you like.
Absolutely. Yeah. I definitely feel that that's a trait. Yeah. Certainly for me. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's and so let's start there. And maybe even how your sensitivities brought you to this realization that we are loved and whole and just perfect the way we are.
Yeah. I've been reflecting a lot on what sensitivity is and how it manifests, because people can experience it in such different ways. For me, I think, one of my superpowers around sensitivity is walking into a room and sensing the vibe of the room, sensing the energy and what's being exchanged between people in lots of ways. And I think, my part of my background is as an opera singer and a performer, performer on stage. And I think that kind of connection to sensitivity has really benefited and backed up my experiences of performing. That interconnection between actors and the highly attuned capacity to listen to others and to really take the space to be in connection with others, I think. And I feel like a lot of highly sensitive people have that capacity to almost slow down, allow an extra spaciousness for things, energy, people in their wholeness to be received.
Absolutely. I'm trying to picture what it would be like to be on a stage, because the energy must be magnified in a way, isn't it, with having an audience in the room as well? Would that ever get overwhelming as a sensitive?
For me, it never was. There was this this extraordinary naturalness for me around
how beautiful.
Yeah, I think it was a desire to be seen and continue a desire to be seen and to be heard. And I think the kind of magic of having enormous spaces, because I've been lucky to perform in such big venues. As you say, kind of amplifies this capacity actually to be a relationship, which is what I love about it. I was doing it as a singer, as a performer. I was able to share my voice and be received, and also feel the connection with the audience and feel them being a part of the performance. Essentially, it's between us. It's not just me or the group I'm performing with, but it's a shared experience of feeling seen and heard together.
Wow. That so many things pop up for me when you say this. And one of them is how amazing it is to hear a sensitive person who in such a strong and beautiful and visible way embraces it and finds a way to express it, where so many of us have been so busy, hiding and trying to make ourselves smaller and to not be seen because we felt weird and different and even wrong sometimes. So I'm wondering, does this connect to this beautiful statement you have about being whole exactly as we are?
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, this is a big theme for the clients that I work with around this desire to be visible, and also this highly sensitive kind of sensation around the possibility of expanding. So there's often a push and a pull of, oh, I do want to be seen, and what I have to share is so important. And coming back to, yeah, my core belief that we're all at different stages of how whole we feel and how ready we are to be loved in our purpose. And it's one layer to be able to do that for ourselves. And then, you know, it's another layer to allow others in to see us do that.
Wow. Yeah.
A layer again to be seen in a more public space and setting. Like, you know, a lot of my clients are doing TED Talks or writing books or, you know, delivering certain things through kind of social media marketing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very powerful to have a role model and to see it and experience it first, maybe, and then let that reflect to ourselves that, oh, and recognize, oh, I would actually like to do that too, because I believe you're right that many of us have something we would like to share. And I definitely recognize that push and pull you describe about. Sometimes I was like, but this thing I have, that has qualities sometimes that might be better than what is normal. So I really want to share this. But then at other times I was like, no, but nobody gets it. So maybe I'm just wrong, because everybody else seemed to think that it's their way to do things that works.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, that feeds so beautifully into this idea of we're all on our own journey around discovering what our gifts are, really. And our capacity to express and share that in the world, I think, is a very human base desire, actually. And a huge part of my work is around the intimacy of discovering, you know, who we are, who am I, and how do I express all of what's inside me and allow that to be possible and accepted. And, you know, that there will be resistances that come up in the real world, that some people won't like it, and you'll become Marmite, and, you know, people will love it or hate it. and it doesn't matter, in a sense, because the people who love what you do and resonate are, you know, are your
people. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There's so much good stuff in that. And I like to think of superpowers in general as not just when it comes to sensitive, but superpowers in general, to me, is when we find that thing that is unique to us. Or it's typically a unique combination, isn't it? Because no matter what it is, if you have a beautiful voice, but there's a million people with beautiful voices, but then you have your performance, or you have that energy on stage, and you have a million other things that makes you. And combining those, to me, is, and discovering them, as you say, that's where our unique genius is, our superpower. Would you share a bit about how you got there, your origin story, if you like, how you grew up with your sensitivities, and what led you to a career on stage?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started singing from a very young age. You know, there's a story that my mum came to see me sing in a school hall. I was age 5, and she said she nearly fell off her chair when
Wow.
she suddenly heard what came out of my voice. Age 5, she had no idea I had this voice inside me. And I was lucky in the sense that I went to a school that really nurtured music and really valued it. And I excelled, and I was good at it, and I won music scholarships, and exploring my voice and singing in choirs and competitions and solos was a very big part of my everyday life, really, which created this kind of naturalness in terms of how I shared my voice and why. And I always, alongside that, had this real passion for physical activity. So I was a gymnast when I was younger. I was a swimmer. I competed. I've always felt this strong connection to high performance, I think, in a way. And the kind of the nuts and bolts of how our inner world communicates and dialogues. And I've always been deeply, as a highly sensitive person, deeply introspective as a kind of natural way of living. So when I went to university, I studied music, and then I went to music college, and I studied voice and opera. And as a big part of my experience of training in that way and in that world was this deep listening to my body, where I could start to feel, oh, my lungs expanding here, or my rib cage is kind of feeling a bit tight here. And so I developed this capacity, I think, to be in communication with my body and my voice. And then it's developed as the years have gone on in terms of how does that communicate in terms of my relationship to others, to clients, to my work, to the world.
That's such a beautiful and specific way of using your sensitivity to feel those minute details in your body that most of us are not even, aware of. But I guess that really is an extra level, an extra skill to have in a performance situation or practicing at such a high level.
Yeah, definitely. I think, personally, I feel very kinesthetic in the way that I learn. And often my clients share that a little bit. Also experiencing this sense of feeling a bit mind-led at times. They're highly intuitive, highly energetic, but are also distracted by kind of mind programs of feeling less in the body, I would say. I think that's where we connect and communicate really well, because we can allow that to kind of unpack, in a way that sort of helps to integrate. I
do think we tend to be a lot in our heads in maybe this day and age, or in our culture, or in general. There is a lot of thinking and perceiving and processing going on. So I definitely think that it's, as you say, good to integrate, because we are both a body and a mind and our emotions. So getting all of it to symphonize or harmonize, or I can definitely see that that's a superpower.
That's a beautiful way of describing it. Yeah, I very much see the body as an instrument, and love, love that relationship to it, and love kind of curating that and allowing others to explore that for themselves in a way.
Absolutely. I also noticed how you were talking about being connected to that sense of wanting to achieve. And I would like to hear a little bit more about that as a sensitive person, because it might just be me that has this idea that being visible and excelling in something can be a bigger hurdle for sensitive people, because we are so aware of, oh, but what will people think of me? And if I shine this brightly, will they feel smaller? Or have you run into any of that?
Mm. Yeah, I have definitely played hokey cokey with visibility, because it's been a part of my own journey of showing up and really claiming what it is that I care about and what it is that I want to make a stand for and value in the world. And I think as a highly sensitive person, there is this experience of kind of going in and out of a shell with it. Around a sense of safety, I would say, is a big theme that that I've touched into, that my clients touch into, around finding these spaces to have conversations that feel safer, so that more can unravel and unwind, and we can find this space to allow ourselves to really be who we are.
Yes, absolutely. I think you're right that the space we're in is very important. And you mentioned that as well, growing up, that you were lucky to be in a nurturing environment, an environment that supported singing, dancing, and the arts.
Yeah.
So I think that plays probably a big role for all of us. When we grow up, what settings which stages we are placed on, if we sort of feel like we belong there or not.
Yeah, absolutely. And that Shakespeare quote, "All the world's a stage and men and women are merely players." There's definitely an element of creating our own stages in a way. I was given a lot of stages, and I don't take that lightly. But a lot of it has been things I've created as well. And that's something I feel passionate about in the world, is wanting more highly sensitive people to feel that their voice is really needed, and that their capacities to feel, to be empathetic, to really love in ways that are hugely kind of like oceanically deep.
Oh, yes.
It's so needed in the world. And that is something I would like to see more of, and would like more people to feel that they have those stages, but also that they can create them. And I think that's more possible in this world now, with social media and the capacity to create one's own businesses and
absolutely.
Yeah.
I love life's little synchronicities, because I was talking to people yesterday where we're talking about this thing about getting louder and to get our message out there, and get on the stage was an expression they used. You just get on the stage and do your thing. And I was like, I realized that I'm by starting this podcast and the other things I'm doing, I'm creating my own stage in a way, because I have probably always felt that it was that, who am I to ask to be on someone else's stage? Who am I to demand to be seen and heard and just get out there? So for me, it felt like a more natural place to start to create my own place, and then invite people in to come and share that with me.
Yeah. No, just to add to that as well, I think I've noticed that, in myself as a highly sensitive, that the capacity sometimes to have one's own space and one's own creation, and, as you mentioned, invite people in to share in that, hugely empowering. And it's a sort of slightly reverse way of seeing what it is to be on a stage. there's this kind of outward, here I am standing on a stage.
Yeah.
But actually there's these other stages that are like, here I am, standing in the core of who I really am and what I stand for. And inviting people into that could be seen as a softer or I don't know, another way of doing it.
Or even, offering a safe stage for someone else to land for a little while, like a rehearsal where they're safe, where there's only people cheering in the audience, and to work out the kinks of the performance, maybe, or just having that stage to be seen and heard with a smaller audience. I think that might help build confidence and safety inside ourselves, so that our voices can get stronger to go out there and get on our own stage or the bigger stage, or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, that's one thing I say when I'm working with people, whether that's in groups or one-to-one. I often start by saying, let's get these really messy sounds out. Let's just show me your worst sounds, like really like get them out. And then somehow there's this layer of acceptance of, oh, okay, it's okay to mess up and to sound really horrible and make ugly sounds, and it's a beautiful part of us that wants to be expressed. But as you say, I do think it requires these safer spaces that feel that there's that availability to go there.
Yes, absolutely. I really like this conversation has been creating so many new images for me, and metaphors and ways of looking at things. So thank you so much for being here and sharing your world with me, because that's completely foreign to me. So I like how easy it is to get on Zoom and talk to someone, almost complete stranger, and find a connection because we have something in common, something to talk about that helped us just jump into the conversation and the topic.
Yeah, thank you so much, for this stage, and it's been such a pleasure to share in these commonalities and to open these stories out for discussion. So thank you.
Absolutely. Would you like to say last few words if people are looking for someone like you to help them find their voice and own their visibility? Or would you like me to put the text and the links in the comments?
Perhaps a mixture of both.
Absolutely. Perfect.
I'll grab the stage.
Yes, it's all yours.
What is it I want to share? Well, as I sort of tune into my body, it's really about sharing my passion for people expressing who they really are. And with my unique background as a singer and as a trained theatre performer, and as an energy healer, combine all of these aspects of listening. And I really want people to see how free they are, actually.
Oh, beautiful.
And free to find the beauty and the tones and the expressions and colors of their soul and their humanness. So that it can create more color in the world.
I love that. And I guess there's no better role for us to play than that of who we really are. And finding the stage where we can do that. What could be better than that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Very inspiring story.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the best. I like knowing that you're out there, visible and shining and radiant in all your sensitive superpowers. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.